bet you won't. Guess that I'm not actually sniffing unless you're watching the YouTube edition. Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are, and that's why we like you. On this week's episode, we're drinking, hopefully, a wonderful scotch. I can't wait to try it. It's Ardbeg Hypernova. Now, later on in the episode, when we say, did we say what we drank? We did. If you want to support us monetarily, hit us up on patreon.com/chillfiltered. You could also hit us up on Instagram if you want to chit-chat a little bit, talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. And other than that, send in some friendly tips and advice for when we are on the Matt Madness preliminary rounds next month. And we have dates for when Cole and I are going to be on. We'll have to post that, get that out there somehow.
Yeah,
we'd love your support.
Follow us. Yeah,
love your support. But other than that, that's about it. Would like to talk to you though. Just definitely hit us up. Reach out and touch me. Anyway, Cole, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. I had what was I doing? Man, I just lost my whole train of thought. Man, it's like everything just stopped.
Well, you can start with that fancy new thing behind you.
Yeah, so the sign's up. So it's like a little bit of space taken up behind me, but I do agree with Matt. Matt made a comment on the YouTube channel. He's like, you should just draw bottles on the wall. And I'm like, honestly, for this section right here, maybe I should, because we need something to take up more than just the sign.
Again, you look like you're taken hostage by some sort of terrorist organization. So to be honest, the gift that I've been working on for you, it's not done, and I haven't sent it.
You have a gift for me?
I've been working on it, and I'll say it right now. I'm working on a paper cutout of whiskey, so you could have put it on the wall behind you. So
that's great.
I'll keep working on it, and if
before Matt Madness at least.
Oh God, I don't think I can get it to you by then.
Well, I think I'll pull up like a desk or something, and we'll just throw some bottles on it for Matt, so people will think we're like we are a legit podcast, but people will see it and they'll be like, "Oh, this guy has no idea what he's doing."
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. We are a podcast who does YouTube.
Oh, that's exactly right. And like 90 to 95% of our listenership is on just podcast format.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard when we only get
back
40
podcast
views
form.
When we only get like 40 views on YouTube, I'm like, I promise we're legit. If someone like finds us for the first time, but we'll get there. Hey, 40's great.
I don't
add that to our listeners.
I'm fine with that. Again, folks, also, if you want to support the podcast, download every single episode every single day. Bump these numbers up. Get us as Bush Baked Beans.
Numbers up. Yeah.
The best
it's all about the Bush's Baked Beans
in the world. Get us that sponsorship.
Yeah. We'll write a song about it. Hey, tell you what, listeners, this
sounds like it's going to be bad.
No, it's going to be great. If we get a Bush's Baked Beans sponsorship, which will be partly because of our listenership and, things like our numbers going up on YouTube, I'm sure. We'll have to do something. Like we'll have to sing a Bush's Baked Beans song or something like that. Or
I don't think that does not sound rewarding. Heck, I'll sing a Bush's Baked Beans song.
I guess I'll butt chug something.
Cole will butt chug a can of Bush's Baked Beans.
That's the ultimate incentive is like Cole butt chugging a new bottle.
I mean, like maybe
or butt chugging Bush's Baked Beans.
That's what I said. Yeah. So it's like
okay, yeah.
That's our go-to is like, you guys want to see stuff go in Cole's butt?
Yeah, I'll have to later on when we do the Whiskey World News. Brian Rapp, he made a comment after he sent the article we're going to be reading today, but he made a hilarious comment after that. So we'll get to that later. But yeah, life is good. I think I did mention this. I mean, I obviously know
you have not mentioned much of anything yet.
No, that's for sure. But in the past, I've mentioned that, of course, we're having a baby in July.
Yeah.
But did I mention the gender yet? I think I did.
I don't know. I don't think you.
Not on the podcast?
Oh no, I think you did. Yes, you did.
Okay, cool.
You did.
We're having a girl.
You're having a little
So stoked.
Roberta.
Yeah,
Jamie
Roberta.
Seawald.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Heather and I have basically decided on a name. And it was, so I don't know if I mentioned this before. So we had one in mind before Beck was even born. We said we had two in mind. And Beck was one. And then the name that I will not mention was the other. And we said, we prefer to name our first child Beck. No, John Owen. No, it's John Oliver. Yeah, so we had the other one in mind, and I loved the other name. I was like, yeah, if we ever have another kid, we can name them that. And then with what was that? Sorry, I keep losing my mind.
New baby.
Yeah, the name. And so, yeah, man, it's gonna be a great podcast episode because I am focused and I don't have ADHD like I always have. But yeah, so we had that in mind. And then Heather recently was like, I was thinking of another name instead of the one we loved together before Beck was even born. I'm like, I really love that name.
But Heather, this new baby needed us to love together to make it. And now we had a name that loved together and we don't have it.
Yeah, that's my thought. That was totally my
blue.
Thought. Yeah, Sacre blue cheese. And then she recently rescinded her name and said, I do think that original name we had would be the best name.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, but can I name the middle name? And I'm like, only if I can theme the what do they call it? The nursery room. And then she said, no deal. And so we're going to work together on those things.
Bring out best names and bring out the best.
I want to do owl themed, and cute little owls, like little baby owls.
Who wouldn't want that?
Exactly. And then she wants to do daisy themed, like the flower. And I'm like,
you do both.
Yeah, we could actually.
Bunch of owls sleeping in daisies. Well, they'd probably be. I think owls roost in trees, so they'd be dead if they were sleeping in daisies.
But where do roosters owl? Daisies. You know what I'm saying?
What? Don't drink when I'm.
You said owls roost in trees, but where do roosters owl?
On the prowl, because they're an owly fowl.
So, okay, check this out. Two things. Two things that just came to my mind with my ADD right now.
Oh, no.
One, Sentinel Rye. This is what I'm entry buzzing on right now. And I think there's a mistype. And Mark, if you're listening or viewing, let us know. On the back, it says, for Sentinel, we start with a sweet and bold straight rye and finish it in freshly harvested mesquited Whiskey Del Bach casks. At a hot Sonoran desert summer, then it's filtered across mesquite charcoal from our mesquited malting process. In an homage or homage or whatever, that's not the word I'm worried about, to the Franklin County method. Did you catch a mistake in there?
No.
So
I'm an idiot.
The filtering through charcoal is not the Franklin County method. It's the Lincoln County method.
Lincoln County.
Totally. So I think there was a mistype on the bottle.
I got mine right here.
Yeah, maybe make sure yours is the same.
It says Franklin too. Because if you had just Franklin and I had...
Yeah, because I could understand that. Maybe they set this bottle aside. Like they did get this bottle from like the left, not the leftovers, but this was already sold out and they got me this bottle. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk to Mark.
Now I have a bottle of opened misnomered. I don't have a sealed one. Gosh,
and
doodles.
It's signed. And then secondly, my second thought is I recently, you remember how I loved the Tin Cup 10-year?
I can't find that anymore.
Yeah, well, no, I'm like, I've got a few of them now because I'm like, if this ever goes away, I need this. But I got this week or today. I picked it up today.
Tin Cup 14?
Tin Cup 14er. It's a 14-year, and I haven't even opened this thing yet.
Are you sure it's a 14-year, not like a 14-ouncer?
That'd be rough. I'm pretty sure so far. Ooh, nice.
A 14 milliliter.
Yeah. Look at this John piece. 14 year. So we're going to be drinking this soon. I'm hoping it's the same proof as the 10-year. I'm hoping it's even better than the 10-year. But we'll see. And a cool copper tin cup.
That is.
So I'm excited for this.
Is it real? Is it a real copper one, or is it just copper?
It looks like copper plated, which is doable.
That's what I anticipated.
Yeah. Maybe it's tin underneath, copper on the outside. That's
Benjamin Copperpot.
Yeah, that's Benjamin Copperpot. So anyway, that's how I'm doing, I guess. How are you doing, Robby?
I'm good, man. So since we last talked, last weekend, wife and I went down to Arizona together, hung out in Scottsdale with our good friends and good-looking Chuck Westerberg. He's a Patreon. He got so good-looking after he's
beautiful. So is his family.
We went down there. They are a cute family. They really are.
Does he have kids?
Yep, he's got 2 kids.
Nice.
So
I'm sure they're gorgeous.
They're very good-looking kids and great personalities.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
You know, you want to sign up for Patreon, you will get better looking, and your children will have better personalities.
And there'll be more good children.
There'll be more good children-y. That's the mark of chill filters on your
Can't
children.
you wait?
Anyway, we went down there. It was a good time. We got an Airbnb, did a lot of eating, drinking, hanging out. I think, to my credit, to my personal disappointment, I had the highlight of the weekend. Friday night we got there, and we were going to go out down to Henry's. Have you ever been to Henry's? You know Henry's? There's a restaurant in Scottsdale. Anyway, we're going to Henry's, and we couldn't figure out how to lock the door on the Airbnb because it had a code thing. And I was like, well, you know what? 2 minds are better than one. So I was like, I'll go help John. I ran out of the van. I'm like being stupid because we've had something to drink, and I'm stupid at baseline, but I am like sprinting my heart out. I did not see this step. I hit a step and I flew like 5 feet, landed, like tore my jeans, bloodied knee.
Oh no!
Like I hit hard. And so then at work, apparently I sit down in my chair a certain way where I sit and I kind of swivel into place and stop myself with my knee.
Did it hurt?
I've bled through so many pairs of pants this week.
That's funny. Was it that bad? Like you got cut up pretty bad, or was
I got cut up pretty bad. I'm scabby and cut up, man. So that was like kind of highlight. But no, we had a good time. We went down to, and you, my good friend, gave Chelsea some inside info on a good place to get some whiskeys. Yes. What was it called? It was a Bourbon and Bones. I've never been to the Scottsdale one, but the Gilbert, Arizona one I've been to plenty of times. We might have been in Gilbert. We were down, like I can't remember where we were. But we went there. It was like it had 3 parts to it. It was like the bar area, a restaurant area, and like a sports bar area within it. Okay. I can see that. And then we went to Culinary Dropout after that. Does that ring a bell? You were probably at the Scottsdale one. Anyway, guess what I had to drink at the Bourbon and Bones? Do tell. I was really hoping that you would throw down on something for a little, not like too expensive. I didn't throw down. I threw down on something that I did not split. Well, Chuck and Stephanie bought my drink, but I got some Del Bach Old Pueblo, the unaged, the white whiskey. Yeah, and I totally forgot. Like, when I ordered it, I was like, "Oh, I'll just get this one," because I had a feeling someone was going to pick it up because they're like, "This is for your birthday, Robby." Nice. So I got the cheaper one, and they brought it to the table. I'm like, "Is this what I ordered? Because that doesn't look like whiskey." And then I remembered it's the unaged one. It was delicious. Yep. Yeah, that's the peated, or not the peated. Sorry, mesquited one, right? Yeah, unaged. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was really good. Like as far as White Dog goes, I remember that too. Yeah. No, it was delicious. It did remind me more of like a mezcal than a whiskey, but it was great. So anyway, did that. The other thing is I kept telling people how you had your fruit trees down there because the neighbors of our Airbnb had branches leaning over, and we were getting oranges off it every morning. Nice. And just eating, so good. God bless Arizona. Golly, if I could have citrus trees in my yard, I'd be the happiest man alive. Just go out there, pick a few oranges, make some juice. Pick some navels. I do that here at home. Oh, yeah, that's right. But anyway, so I'm good. Life's good. Things are aight. How you? No, I already asked. You already went. I almost asked you back. Things are good. So. We good? Should we move on? Yeah, I think we're good. Let's been exciting. Let's take a walk, bro. Let's take a walk. Let's go for a walk. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about Ardbeg Hypernova. So here we go to walk break.
And we're back. So one thing I wanted to get to, some notes I wanted to get to. So first of all, thank you to all the people who let us know about the article we're going to be reading for Whiskey World News. We had at least 4 people reach out and say, "Hey, read this
At least
article."
5 or 6. It was we
Yeah.
kept getting it, and I appreciate that. You know why? Never mind.
Mhm.
You say why you appreciate that.
I just appreciate that people think about us.
I
when they read
appreciate
the
that.
news.
I second that, but not only that they think
Yeah.
about us, that when they see stuff like that, they go, "That's related to this podcast." So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, exactly. Another
appreciate it.
shout out to, or first shout out. Well, I guess that was a shout out. So yeah,
That's
another
second.
shout out to Paul Clarkson.
Oh yes.
And I thought you said just a sec. No.
Oh
Paul
no.
Clarkson. I was like, dude, you got someone at the door?
I said, "Oh yes."
Oh yes.
Oh
Paul
yeah.
sent each
Oh
of us
yeah.
6 samples via courier, and I'm really excited about each one. And foreshadowing, we are going to be drinking one of them next week.
Yes, sir.
So, and then a quick shout out to Dramhound, the baller himself. Wait a second. First baller shout out to all the people that hit us up. Oh man, I gotta get my corn bleu. Second baller shout out to Paul Clarkson. And then shout out to Dramhound, because Dramhound made this episode possible because he found a bottle of Ardbeg Hypernova and snagged it for me. So Dramhound, you're a baller. Hope everything's well. Hope Dram Pup is living her best life. I hope everything's great in the Dram Hound household.
The Dram
So anyway,
household.
it's interesting that this I feel like even though we drank a rye last week, it felt single malty because it was from Del Bach. But this
was it
made
single malty? Was that a single malt?
No, it was a rye. No, but they're a single malt company. Like they make.
Okay, that's
malt,
right. Because you have to have barley.
The rye.
You have to have for single malt?
Yeah, it's
barley.
100% malted barley to be a single malt. At least in the U.S. Well, pretty much everywhere. So anyway, we have done Ardbeg bottles on the podcast before. Episode 15. We drank Ardbeg Supernova SN2015 committee release. Episode 74.
Like space in your mouth.
It was like space in my mouth. Episode 74. We did Ardbeg like, Korvrecken.
But not outer space, more like Michael Strahan space.
Yeah. Inner space. He's got some space there. And then, episode 178, we did Ardbeg Scorch committee release 2021. We've discussed a little background on the distillery, but let's get into it a little more, and we'll talk about the Hypernova release. So let's talk about Ardbeg Distillery. For those who don't know, Ardbeg is an Islay Scotch distillery. That means it's on the island of the Inner Hebrides. I love it. Yeah, that's for sure. That's a good way to put it. In the western side of Scotland. It's the island of Islay, or the Isle of Islay. There are a few good distilleries on that island, and some big names too, like Lafroig, Lagavulin, Bunnahabhain, Bruichladdich, Col Ila, Bowmore, and even another smaller distillery that we recently drank, Kilholman. And they are all known for their peaty whiskey. And now, also for those who don't know, peaty Scotch happens when, during the malting process, the distillery uses burning peat to dry out the malted barley grain. The peat has a lot of smoke when it burns.
Burning Man.
Yeah, take that, Burning Man. Those smoke particles stick to the wet grain, and when the malted barley is used then in the fermentation process, the smoke and campfire flavor carries on into the rest of the process before it's bottled. Most Highland single malt products, on the other hand, they use charcoal or other methods where there's a more clean burn and where there's not too much smoke. They usually don't have too much smoky notes on a Highland or a Speyside Scotch, as opposed to an Islay. The distillery of Ardbeg started in 1815, at least legally. a guy named John McDougall started it up. John McDougall. I knew a Dougal who was Scottish. He was a funny guy. I probably mentioned him once before.
No,
It's suspected that
there's a
John.
restaurant where I grew up in Tri-Cities
Uh-huh.
called RF McDougall's.
Ooh, it's probably a homage.
I think yes, they paid homage to him.
Mhm.
And then it changed to Rattlesnake Brewing Company.
Okay.
But RF McDougall's is ingrained in my brain.
In
That's insane.
Tri-Cities area?
Yeah, it was in Kennewick.
Yeah. Nice.
Near the Mid-Columbia Mall.
Totally.
This is interesting.
What were the other
everybody.
cities of the Tri-Cities?
Kennewick, Pasco, and Richland. And surprisingly enough, when I was growing up, Richland was full of rich people. Pasco was the home of Fight Club author
Chuck Palahniuk.
Chuck Palahniuk.
I think Palahniuk.
Palahniuk.
You're probably right.
I don't know. He's on tour right now, and I'll talk to him later. And Kennewick.
Nice. Is he on tour?
I said tour. You said tour.
No, I said it because I was making fun of you. Is he on tour right now?
No one's ever on tour.
No, you're on tour.
Unless they're a piece of paper. Unless
Rip
your
Torn
name's
is
Flat
always on
Stanley.
tour.
Who's
pour
on
some
tour?
out for the homie Rip Torn. What's that?
I feel like you need to throw confetti for Rip Torn.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good point.
He was always growing up, he was always on Hollywood Squares and stuff like that.
Really? He's easy name to remember. But I only know him in two things, like Dodgeball and Men in Black.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know how he became a thing like that.
Yeah.
He found his shtick, and he just speaking of people who have their shtick, eat Bush's baked beans. That was my name in high school.
Yep.
Love a whiskey, spirits lifted. That's us. We're shticky people.
And we hope you drink podcasts like we do. And okay, so anyway, John McDougall. It was suspected, though, even though the distillery legally started in 1815, there was suspected that he had been making whiskey without a license since at least 1794. Fun fact about Ardbeg is that John McDougall's granddaughters may have been the first female Scotch distillers in Scotland. They took over with a guy named Colin Hay of the company.
Colin Hay.
Hey, when their father, Alexander McDougall, passed away in 1853. So they took over, and then they passed away before Colin Hay did, and Colin Hay took over the distillery.
Hey.
Anyway, they were a very successful distillery for a really long time. Even self-sufficient, really long time. Even self-sufficient since until 1974, meaning they were able to source barley and peat from their own property the whole time.
Nice.
Up until 1974. As the peated whiskey boom hit in the early 70s, they eventually had to get peat from off the company property, which isn't really that big a deal, but it's pretty cool that for 100, almost 200 years, they were getting their own stuff from within their property.
Cole, how much peat have you gotten off your property?
Not a single peat.
Same with me. So it's impressive to get one peat.
Yeah, seriously.
I assume peats are just one peat, two peat, three peat, repeat, one peat, two peat.
Sneaky Pete. Anyway, in the 1980s, it was a hard time for whiskey. We've talked about this with American whiskey. We've talked about this with Blanton's and Age International, if anyone remembers. But definitely with Scotch, too. Ardbeg closed its doors from 1981 to 1989. And when it did reopen, it didn't really fully reopen for a while until 1997 when Glen Morangi bought them out. They brought them actually to the level they're at today. And now they're both owned by Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton. But let's talk about what inspired the Hypernova release. There are some OG listeners out there that know that about the chill filtered Supernova fiasco. Long story short, Supernova was not aged partially in space. No, it was rather a celebration that Ardbeg sent a few vials, just mere vials, into space of their whiskey. And that's cool and all. Would be more cool if those vials had been added to the batch that was put in Ardbeg Supernova, in my humble opinion. But I digress. The SN 2015 committee release clocked at 100 parts per million on the phenol scale for peatiness. But in 2022, Ardbeg wanted to outdo that and put out its peatiest whiskey yet. And that's what we're drinking today, Ardbeg Hypernova. And peaty it apparently is at 170 parts per million on the phenol scale. It is basically, is that a record, you ask? No, I believe Boonhaven beat them out. Not Boonhaven. I don't know why I wrote that. Bruichladdich beat them out with one of their Octomore releases. But 170 parts per million is nothing to take lightly. This is a peat bomb. No age statement here, but there's something to be said there, for, if I may. I find that the longer an Islay Scotch is aged, the more the peat mellows out in a really good way, in like a really sweet way. That's why, like, for example, Ardbeg 10, in my opinion, is more peaty than Ardbeg Korvrekken or Ugadal. I know Ardbeg is going for peat-centric on this release, so I imagine it is on the younger side to achieve that. 102 proof, single malt Scotch, so definitely the rules of single malt Scotch, which include 100% malted barley in the mash, lighter color, normally, for especially even Ardbeg is typically a lighter color. And another quick shout out, thanks to Dramhound for helping me get this bottle. Total wine price $200. So I'm gonna pour one out for the homie Cole.
I'm gonna pour one out for the homie Rob.
I am gonna give a cork pop. This isn't. I haven't sipped this at all, but this would have been the original cork pop. But I sent some to Robby, so nice, a classic.
Moist and toit like a
toya. Ooh, look at that, Pete.
Yeah,
ooh,
no,
this
so
is
here's the
light
thing.
whiskey.
It is really light colored. It's also like you say, look at that peat, like on the nose. And Cole, you can't see with your nose, so I assume you just meant like look at this as a euphemism for smell this. And it's not like it is peaty, but it's not like super smoky. Like it just smells like it has like the funk. It's more like a peat funk, but it's not like, it doesn't hit me like a smoke as much. I don't know, but it's also
I've
got like
smelled smokier on the nose.
Yeah. But you can tell this is
smells so good.
The Scotch. It's like got a nice like pear sweetness, white grape sweetness to it.
White grapes.
Oh,
there is a smokiness. Don't get me wrong. It is
smoky,
peaty, but it's not like I said, it's not the peatiest I've ever smelled.
It's got, but at the same time, like it's not like smoky to me as much as it is just like kind of has like that peaty funk. The peaty funk. This is Grandma.
That was a nickname in college, actually.
What was that? Peaty
funk? Yeah.
I'm gonna go for a sip here.
You go for a sip. I'll keep nosing this. Yeah, there is a sweetness and a fruitiness. I think white grapes really hit it, but don't hit it fully on the head. I think you did mention pears, and I think mix that in a little bit of pear juice, a little bit of white grape juice. Is it good?
It is real good.
Nice.
It gets a little bit of bitterness on the back end, but it comes in. All right. So when you finally get the peat, it comes in with a burn and this smokiness. Right? It's super light.
The finish is the strongest peat finish I've ever had.
And then it comes in just like, boom, here it is. Like, oh my gosh, that's Hubba friggin' what?
That's for sure. That is so interesting.
It's just good. It's so just
I loved,
good.
Yeah, I loved Ardbeg Supernova, the 2015 release that I had. That was great. I might like this more. This is the Ardbeg Supernova had more tobacco notes. This is not as much brunt like tobacco, like You can get a little bit of it there, but it sweetens out more. But it's complex. Like this is, I remember the Supernova being complex. It had a lot of notes, but this one is like surprisingly more hits of flavors, and it'll change. It'll be like, now you're getting this, now you're getting pears, now you're getting campfire, now you're getting real campfire, and now you're getting sweet again.
And now you got too close to the fire, and your mouth is in the fire. Pull it back out, and it's so I do still get a little bit of bitterness on the back end, but
okay,
that is not like it is so complex before that it's worth it. Like if you don't like getting any bitterness on it, it's worth it. It starts real light too. It's very light on the front end. You kind of get the sweetness, just like a hydrating viscosity. It's like kind of like a nice. It's like being hot outside, drinking some ice water, and you're like, oh, it's refreshing. And then all of a sudden, it just builds to this like crescendo of smoke and heat.
That's for sure.
Oh my!
That's a great way to put it. Crescendo. It really builds up.
It does. Yeah. No, this is delish. Sweet dish.
Sweet dish. That was another nickname in high school, actually.
That's your nickname right now, you sweet dish. I'll take a side of that. All right, dropping some water.
Yeah, I'm giving it the old Spin J.
Oh,
Matt job.
When we were in Arizona, I saw Whataburger. Whataburger.
Yeah, Whataburger.
Never had it, and I was like, "Well, we should try that. Like that might be a good late night Uber drive home, grab some before bed." And those burgers are big. I didn't realize it. And you can put jalapenos on it.
Did you like it?
It's a fast food burger.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better than like McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's.
I like
Sorry, California. Sorry, Mike Cook.
It tasted fresher. I think I would go to In-N-Out over Whataburger.
Oh,
I would go to Shake Shack over them both. I like Shake Shack a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing I liked about Whataburger, it was bigger.
Wait, I thought you meant, it's funny. You said Whataburger. I thought you were saying In-N-Out. And I was like, it's all right. I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I lived in Texas, and Whataburger's from Texas. I can't tell you what I think about them comparatively, but I do like Texas more than California, I think.
Really? Okay. No, I like In-N-Out is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just tell, like we just sliced the tomatoes, we just sliced the onions.
Mm-hmm.
Are
there In-N-Outs in Boise?
We're getting one. So that's the thing is like, I don't know if I like In-N-Out because I can never get it, but Whataburger, you could put jalapenos and green chilies on your burger. Like,
nice.
I'm all in on that. They have blue cheese.
That's Texas for you, baby. And everything's bigger in Texas, as you said. Ooh.
So I kept pretending we were in Texas, and I kept saying, the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Arizona.
Yep. Arizona has all the best, like, local chains. For example, Arizona has Chicago deep dish pizzas that are only found in Chicago area or Arizona, which I loved.
Oh, have you ever been to the Hash House? Did you ever go there? We went to the Hash House for brunch. No. It was good.
Nice.
They had a drink.
I've been to the Hash House a go-go in San Diego.
That sounds familiar for some reason. Maybe you mentioned that to me when we went down there.
Maybe.
All right, nose-wise, definitely smokier with a little bit of water.
The nose with water.
It's nice. It's pleasant. I think it killed a little bit of the sweetness.
Uh-huh.
The sweetness isn't there as much, but like the peatiness is there. It's a little more smoky and less funky, and it's a little more like vapory. I can tell a little more alcohol-y. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna go for a sip.
Yeah. On the palate, from what I got from sipping it, it might even be better. I really need to pay attention a little more, but
it might be
there's
better.
nothing unpleasant. What's that?
It might be. It's different for sure. It doesn't it doesn't kind of crescendo like we said. It's definitely sweeter, more viscous off the front.
That's absolutely true. You don't get as much
like just
complexity.
Build up and hitching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's really good with water for sure.
Hey, Robby, keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking.
I gotta get ice.
I'm a rockin', and here I go. Check out everybody. Here comes Robby's Flow. Cole left the room, and that's okay because Robby's here to rock your day. I don't know if this is good stuff. Here we go. Don't call him a bluff. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. I'm going to sniff again. I bet you won't. Guess that I'm not actually sniffing unless you're watching the YouTube edition. All right. So I got to tell you something, folks. Future Robby. Or no, dead Robby. If you're watching this, I'm still dead. I love you guys. Oh, you can hear me. All right, he's back, Jack.
Whew. Ice in.
Could you hear my rap?
I did. I didn't pay attention.
Was it okay?
But I heard it.
Oh, you didn't pay attention.
No, it was good. I think you're pro.
So I think this is definitely our first Hubba to What of 2023. I am impressed in so many ways.
I Hubba to Whatted Sentinel. I honestly think for a $40 rye, that Hubba to Whatted me.
All right, so this is the second.
I was grateful for that. Yeah.
For sure.
It's so light. Like, listeners, do you see? I mean, viewers on YouTube, that is so light in the light there.
I'm going to mute myself so I can do my.
Is good. Oh, he muted himself. Nice. Oh, wow. But he didn't mute his viewing of him. So if you're on YouTube, sorry about that. Robby is crushing ice in his mouth and not closing his mouth while he does it. So I don't know. I guess I deserve that for running downstairs to get ice. So
I iced up this John count number 2.
Nice. Nose. It's
sweetness is back, baby.
Yeah, sweetness is back. It's got some the pears show up and the white grapes show up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a sweetness.
It's brighter in like the nose notes. Like, it's like, yeah, people know what I mean.
Absolutely. It's definitely brighter. The fruity sweetness shows up more. I will say though, the cool thing about this second Hubba to What on it is like the nose on all three are really good. Like, it's very pronounced and strong with the neat. Yeah. It got sweeter with the water, and with this, it's just like straight fruit, like, and with a little bit of the smokiness there. So without the funk. That's the other thing is I really like the neat. It had a funk to it, but not necessarily like so anyway, good noses all around.
So what I'm noticing on the palate for the ice pour is that it is segmented a little more. Like, it's not, I don't think it's as good, but I will say this is that the progression of notes does happen, but it's like all of a sudden you get this. Now you get this. When in the neat pour, it was like
it faded,
like transitioning everything. Well.
Faded
this
out.
One doesn't transition well.
This, I got something weird on the front end. It was like, I don't think I like it. It was like, this is gonna be weird. It was almost like Play-Doh, like when you were a kid. Yeah, not me. I heard from other kids who were weird in the class who were but like it's just kind of like briny. It was briny.
Yeah, briny is a great word.
Briny, yeah, it was just very briny. It was almost kind of like when you're out in the ocean, you just get a little bit in your mouth and like, bah, yeah. So it was very briny, and then it gets better after that initial kind of like mouthfeel taste kind of thing. So
yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's the worst with ice. There's some little bit of bitter notes, little bit of finish is not great. Much prefer this neat. I think neat wins it for me. I'm ready to rate this one.
Rate it, buddy.
I'm going to give it a 9.2.
Okay.
I am very impressed. What gets me the most is the complexity. I think that is really cool how you can
absolutely
go through all these different notes, nice sweet notes, nice smoky notes, nice just well balanced notes, and for potentially a young Scotch, I think that's incredible.
Especially like you can do this. The turner on this can't be too much. Sorry,
exactly.
Dude, I'm with you. 9.2.
Yeah.
This is
Nice.
really good neat. This is great neat. Really good water.
Yeah.
Maybe not ice. And that's the thing is, I think that the only thing I dislike, and I wish I would have like framed my mindset, is ice just wasn't as good as the others. It was just a little bit of a letdown.
I had to kind of water it or wash it down with some of the Sentinel.
Well, I was hoping.
I think it's
You know, in scotches, sometimes you go with ice, you can get really good, like be better, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, if this is good, neat and watered, could be great iced. And it just wasn't, but neat and ice is great.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I like it. I think it's time for our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News.
And we're back. Part of the show, we're reading an article. We didn't write it. We're going to read it. We're going to talk about it. Here it goes. We're having a little technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on.
I think it's better now.
Oh, I hope so. Because so at this part of the break in recording, I go walk to the bus stop, pick up the twins, come back. And it was a show. Rob's got to get his poops in the groups because it was not fun. Anyway, this one comes from a plethora. Would you say we have a plethora of listeners, Cole?
We have a cornucopia of listeners.
Yes. So I love the fact that people sent this to us because it shows that you guys have been here for the long haul. So there's...
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the best part too, is like this goes back way back.
It does. Yeah. It does. This is before I even hosted the show.
Yeah. This is like top 20 or first 20 episodes. Yeah. Episode 15, I want to say.
I think you said it earlier and we both drank it, and now that is 15. Irrelevant. It was 15. Who knows? The one in particular comes from Whiskey Raiders, and it's titled Redefining What It Means to Make a Rare, in quotation marks, spirit. North Carolina Distillery prepares to blast barrels of bourbon into outer space for aging. Mystic Farm and Distillery in Durham, North Carolina is preparing to rocket barrels of bourbon into outer space. About to rocket children into space.
What? Children, send them to space. What do you want, children?
Tell Mar to help you.
I'll be right out after I stop drinking with my friends.
Drinking. Let someone help you. Oh,
I always love that.
Gosh. Well,
go on.
You'll be here. We'll be here soon with you.
Yeah, I'm catching up to you.
Yeah. I got cranky kids. Anyway, for aging creating what it believes will be the rarest spirit ever produced. The distillery plans to work with companies such as Elon Musk, SpaceX, Inversion Space, and Bank of America. Bank of America is going to space? Like the other people sound like space companies.
I didn't know that was in there.
To finance, design, test, and build vessels to send 5 barrels of whiskey to low Earth orbit for a year of secondary aging per ABC 11. According to Mystic, this will be the first commercial product ever manufactured in space and the first spirit aged in low Earth orbit. As the first we've seen a bourbon aged in outer space, no one knows the impact the year-long finish will have on the liquid. If you want to be one of the 1,300 people to taste this space-aged whiskey, you can click here. We don't do links on our YouTube, sorry. To pre-order, but be warned, it costs $75,000. So it's all chip in, bros. Chip it in. Anyone who pays $75,000 will receive this is the funny part. An NFT proving their ownership and authenticity to the bottle. Those who invest in the bottle will be able to track telemetry data from the mission and real-time video from the orbiters from Mystic Galactic Mission. One app. Additionally, each NFT owner will be invited to bring a guest and attend the launch and recovery celebrations. Mystic Galactic and Mystic Standards bourbon mash bill, 55% corn, 45% wheat, and finish it for a year in low Earth orbit. It is made with Mystic's own grain produced in North Carolina. Mystic ferments its bourbons for 13 days, significantly longer than the average, which is about 3 days.
You got it when you're not using
I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there. Yeah, but what do you got? What do you got, buddy? Okay, what are your thoughts?
first, I think it's pretty cool that like they would take a video, like a live stream video of liquid in space, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know how they would do that, but they'd figure a way out. I also think, secondly, there's a chance this might not even happen. Like it sounds like they've never even hooked up with SpaceX or anything like that, and
Or
they're just
Bank of
like,
America.
hey, if we get the money,
If
we're gonna make it
you
happen.
have a Bank of America account right now, you tell them, give
Yeah.
me a little bit of my whiskey.
Yeah. Secondly, thirdly, what was
Tertiary.
it? Brian Rapp, he said, like he sent me this article and I was like, hey, if we get to $75,000 on a month on Patreon, that I will, we'll buy one bottle and we'll share it with all of our Patreon people. The funny thing is that he responded back and he's like, that beats 75 butt chugs any day. It's just pretty funny. So yeah, listeners, honestly, if we get to $75,000 a month on Patreon,
75,000 a month.
that's easy to do. We will happily we will happily but heck, I'll say half that. If we get to $37.50 or $37,500 a month on Patreon,
I'm quitting my job. And Cole
I'm quitting my job, and then we will happily invest in one of those bottles and share it with all of you guys. So
we'll do that.
Make sure you throw down the hundos on patreon.com and get to the chill filtered bar sign tier, and then we'll make this happen, guys. So yeah,
perfect.
That's your best bet in getting space in your mouth. That's all I'm gonna say, is supporting us on Patreon and being a part of us in that way.
Man, I gotta close. I should have closed some blends where you're talking. My son has shifted here.
Your son,
I am
shifted.
very like, you can't even see me.
Yeah, we're gonna have to block that spot. No, it's all good. You're fine.
Yeah, my only thought is it doesn't sound that good.
Well, the interesting thing is that they say they ferment it longer, but notice that they didn't use any malted barley in their mash bill, which usually aids in the fermentation process. It really has a lot of enzymes that can break down the sugars. So I'm very curious in what a 55%, 45% corn wheat bourbon tastes like. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, okay.
I got to go down to Raleigh and find out.
Yeah, you are going to be the man of the hour, Johnny on the spot.
Yeah,
hit him up.
Woman of the night. Yeah,
Woman of the night. What's that from?
That's just a funny. It sounds like man of the hour, but it's like a prostitute.
Ah, I gotcha.
Lady of the night. Yeah,
yeah. Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
Janie on the dot.
What I should do is actually drive down to Raleigh and get them on the podcast and just start talking to them about space whiskey.
Well, you know how good we are getting people on the podcast.
We are good. We're getting Mark on soon. And dude, Mark was like down. And that's how it goes, is like first they'll say yes and then they'll say no. Mark said yes at least twice. So we've been good at it. It's just lately it's been like people are just ghosting us. I think it's because of our YouTube views. So listeners, go on YouTube and watch us on YouTube. But you don't have to. You really don't have to.
5 times every day. You need
5 times every day,
okay.
Every episode.
So it's time for what whiskey would you choose? Am I right?
Let's bring it on.
So I don't think this is right.
What's not right?
Did you look at it?
No. I think it is right because no one has heard of the distillery you posted.
Okay. I thought I voted for it.
I didn't see you on there.
Oh, I must not have. No.
It was the first blowout, complete blowout in history of
But
whiskey. Or what whiskey would you choose?
This group nailed it. And honestly, like if you were to offer me the 2 pours, one in sentiment I would take, the other I would take any day. Cole, we said, what was your favorite whiskey west of the Mississippi? Cole went with Del Bach Dorado Cask. I went with Landmark Whiskey.
And
Cole
it
got
was
every single friggin' vote.
Yeah, and a lot of votes too.
I thought no, maybe I just voted for 2 Pick Tuesday. That's what I voted for.
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And that's okay. Oopsie poopsie. Got to get the right screen here.
This week on What Whiskey Would You Choose?
Well, hold
Robbie's
on here,
got it.
man.
Okay.
We got to get
Oh
results.
no, we got to go with last week. Well, last week was both.
Favorite whiskey west of the Mississippi. Did you listen to that too? Or we were like, you couldn't understand west of the Mississippi, and then I couldn't understand it. It was pretty
Maybe.
comical. It was.
I don't know. I don't think I got to that point.
Okay, listening to it without
got to,
having
like,
a drink,
almost that
it was
point.
pretty fun to listen to. I
That's
enjoyed it
funny.
because you were like south, west, east, and like I was like
Yeah.
east, west, south. Like we had
You're
no
like,
idea.
let's just pick west.
It was pretty good. Anyway,
Yeah.
Miles Ferguson, does Alberta Premium and Castrate count? Since
That counts. Calgary is west of the Mississippi.
I was gonna say Calgary's west. All right, and then that was from Miles Ferguson, and then P. Clarkson 21 Old
Paul
Elk.
Clarkson.
Where's oh, that's Paul.
Yeah, he's in South Carolina himself.
I didn't know,
But
that.
I won't dox him and give away his whole address.
I don't. It takes me a while to catch on. I take a long time for names. I'll never forget a face, especially if you are a Patreon member because your face is beautiful. Madtown Marketer, Big Kleptic, Westland Gariana series. We have that on the shelf, don't we?
Yeah, we had the we have the 5th edition or the 6th edition, and we've drank the other one that I mentioned, 5th or 6th.
And then Dramhound went with High West Double Rye Barrel Picks.
Good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Bryce Marita says, "Give me all the Del Bach you have," and Del Bach is friggin' amazing. We are like this podcast started as Buffalo Trace fanboys.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say we're Del Bach fanboys
in
now.
the single malt world. Yeah, it's hard to beat Del Bach in the American single malt, especially.
Embellish Pod, John friggin' Voldemort Hughes, Westward or Frey Ranch. Have you had those?
Fry Ranch. I think that's out of Colorado. I haven't had Fry Ranch, or maybe it's Frey Ranch.
It's Frey.
But I haven't had either. I haven't had Westward either, to be honest.
Okay, John. Hook some brothers up.
Hook us up.
Bro Tascasinosa, our Canadian turtle friend. Alberta Premium Cast Strength Batch 1. And we've already determined Alberta is legit.
Is Calgary west of the Mississippi?
Well, Alberta, right?
Yeah. No, but Calgary is where they make that. Yeah. But Calgary is in Alberta. Yeah.
Well, then is Alberta Premium Strength in Calgary?
Yeah, that's where they make it.
Okay, well, we already cleared that. So then you're doubling back. And maybe you think you weren't listening. Maybe you think you were pulling a Robby during the history part of the show. I don't pay attention. I do other stuff.
No, you got to look up your what do you call it?
I just eat Bush's baked beans. That's all I do. Sean Ciaro.
Why not?
Sean Ciaro, SJ Ciaro, Spirit Hound, Colorado Single Malt. You ever heard of that?
Yes, and we've talked to Spirit Hound a little bit, and they were one of the people that ghosted us, or maybe not. Actually, I take that back. I think we reached out to them and needed to continue to reach out to them. So I'm not gonna cut them off yet. But we got to reach out to they have an ambassador that follows us. So we're gonna hit them up and get some of their stuff. So that's good to know, Sean.
That ambassador needs to keep the ASS out of their name and follow up with us when we eventually remember to follow up.
An AMSir.
And then the Smoking Oak High West in general.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Admiral Whiskey Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon.
Yeah. Texas is west of the Mississippi.
So that's the thing is I don't know a lot of these. And I just
got to try
I think it's
I think we have I don't know if we have a Garrison Brothers on the shelf right now.
I don't think we do. But it's one of the things where it's it's kind of nice to get out of Kentucky or get out of the East Coast because there's a lot of other stuff going on. And Del Bach is probably the best of them. But anyway, all right, this week, we're talking.
You had it.
Whiskey World News. We're talking about whiskeys going to space.
Oh, okay.
So, if you could take a whiskey, anywhere, what whiskey would you take and where would you go?
Oh, that's a great question. I like that.
Okay.
So if I get if it's just a free trip anywhere, I'm going to Paris, man.
Okay, you're going to Paris.
What am I taking to Paris? I'm going to be drinking Blanton's Midnight to Paris or whatever they call that thing.
Oh, okay. Well, if I can take a whiskey anywhere, I'm taking Macallan 18. And I'm going to Uranus, Cole.
That's funny.
So
Paris
anyway,
by
that's
Night, it's
that.
called.
Okay, perfect. Paris
Yeah.
by Night. Well,
And
way to
Uranus to
undercut
space.
my joke of Uranus.
No, it was perfect. It was
Who
perfect.
doesn't want
And
to
I'm
go
sure
to
you'll get some
Uranus with
votes.
some Macallan 18?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So that's next week. What do we, Cole? We talked
And
about it.
reminder to our listeners: if you, I don't think we've mentioned this fully yet, but we've alluded to it. If we get to $1,000 a month on Patreon.com/JillFiltered, I will personally butt chug a Macallan and at least audio record the situation. So,
Well, I also want to say thank you to our shadow donor who is is not about whiskey, but just wants to see things go into Cole's anus. So thank you for that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whenever you decide, like, I get it, it's some foreplay here. It's a little bit of teasing of Cole's anus. We'll get there. We'll get there, people.
And I'm not even worried about it. We'll get there one day. I'm prepping my anus for Macallan 18. So
anyway, all right. So next week, what do we say? We're drinking.
yeah, we're gonna be
Old
between
Elk.
Old Elk Infinity Barrel and then we're gonna be between Rebel 10-year single barrel.
Perfect.
So
Both
keep an eye out.
Paul
Clarkson.
Joints. I'm
Yeah.
horrible with names. Paul, send me your picture. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's great. So I hope our listeners had fun and we're able to deal with some of our technical difficulties this week. And hopefully next week we won't be dealing with as many technical difficulties with the Old Elk versus the
I hope it's not an issue. And Cole, I hope that you are able to fill that wall behind you before Matt Madness.
Yeah. But most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits.
I'll sing a Bush's
I guess
Baked
I'll
Beans
butt
song
chug
right
something.
Cole will butt chug a can of Bush's
That's like
Baked
that's
Beans.
the ultimate incentive is like Cole butt chugging a new bottle.